Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer. And today we are talking about you've moved away. This is part 2 of you've moved away from the spiritual narcissist. And the negative energy continues to attack you. So when we're dealing with this type of problem, then in many cases, you're not dealing with a regular flying monkey. You're not dealing with a person who only has knowledge of how to send the evil eye. That can be cleansed. Those types of monitoring spirits that you have around you, when you were around these people, those types of low-level attacks can be easily cleansed. But when you're talking about, things starting to break in your life, your car starting to break, your refrigerator starting to break, you're having problems in your relationship with your children, they want to turn back and go back to, grandma and granddad's house because, you're not giving them what they want. And that simply means that someone else is controlling your children, and the process has already begun where you're under attack. And again, I told you guys on last year that when, God has told you to move forward in your life and then you decide to go back, and you will turn into salt like Lot's wife. So don't look back. I've told you, do not look back. Because those types of attacks on your children, in order to control your children, in order to control you through your children, those types of attacks where things start to go wrong, you lose your job, you lose the connection. You thought that you were moving to another city and you had everything in order. You had your job lined up, and you get there and everything falls apart. That is intended to make you turn around. And that is a person that is negative in your life that has set up on you, who want you to be rejected in life, who has been sending these types of attacks to you all of your life. You have identified the person that is obsessed with your energy, that if they do not keep you under control, they are going to be harmed. Your health is going to be harmed. And in many cases, if you stay on this path of separation, they will ultimately be unalive. Some of the people who have been using your energy will be unalive. So we have to make sure that we're understanding. Just like in the time of Lot. And we want to make sure we're reading these types of stories when God is cleansing the negative energy off of the land, the scourge of the earth. Nothing said that, you had to be like your parents of old. Nothing said that, you had to be, and stand by and let these people run their course in your life. Nothing said that. So this is why we understanding that when God gives us these types of stories in the holy books, that we have an understanding from different perspectives. Okay, so if God has told Lot to move away from these people who are attacking men, who are attacking his guests, who want to attack the angels that came in order to deliver him out of Sodom and Gomorrah. It also means that he's going to deliver you from those family members who cannot go with you because they have that evil design, that stench in their heart, that, they are enemies to you. They are enemies to God. So, ordinarily they will be identified. And so we have in this story, Lot's wife is turned to a pillar of salt. Okay, so we have the prophet, peace be upon prophet, delivering this story to you, that some of your family members are an enemy to you. And this is why they cannot go forward in your life. This is why you should not let them, or God will prevent them from going forward with you into your future, into your destiny, because they are some of the ones who have been holding you back, who have been in alignment with the entity, using these types of attacks with the people upon the land. They are in alignment with the entity to attack anyone who do not agree with their way, who will not let them control them, who will not let, you will not be able to be controlled by them, okay, as the chosen ones. So this is a way that we have an understanding for that from the holy books, that we have to cleanse these people. We have to identify these people, and definitely, and again, with this story, it's giving us gems. It's giving us gems in this story. And I love this story because when you're identifying these types of people in your surroundings, in your immediate vicinity, these people are identified by their behavior. They're trying to, go somewhere, and we're aware that God has told us to leave this place, and you're supposed to be following, the prophet. You're supposed to be following your husband to safety, and you're going to go and turn around and go back because you got people back there. Okay, now just look at you. Okay, so these people are identified because of their conduct and their behavior in your family. You have seen it, and now God has given you a double confirmation that once you start to remove yourself, once you start to cleanse yourself from these people, they are identified, and they start to, resent you. They start to become obsessed because you remove yourself from them. And so, in this process of elimination, this is what I call it when I had to go through this. It's a very tough portion of your life as a chosen one, that you have to go through this process of elimination. And that many times means eliminating relatives, eliminating close friends, eliminating your marriage. Because these people were not supposed to move forward with you. They were a hindrance. They were, creating stumbling blocks in your life. And they were sending the negative energy. And this is how we understand that God is letting us know in the holy books. And he's giving you confirmation right now that these people were supposed to be cleansed out of your life. For many of you, for a long time ago, they were supposed to be cleansed out. For me, a lot of the people who were in my life that I've stayed in my life 20 years, trying to get them to say, okay, are you going to believe today? Are you going to do right today? A lot of those people in my life were supposed to be cleansed 20 years ago. Okay, so we don't want to, allow people who have sent stumbling blocks, who have sent, different types of, magic, use magic, the evil eye, manipulation. We don't want those people to stay in our lives. We don't want to, overlook those people. We want to make sure that we see them. We want to make sure that we understand that they have a title. I appreciate, I appreciate you are my parent, and I respect you, but I have to move away from you. And, once we start to cleanse this negative energy, we're going to see if you are, my parent or not, if you were my friend or not. Once I start cleansing this negative energy, this oppressive spirit out of my life that has been, oppressing me for most of my life since I was a child, we're going to see if you were my friend or not, if you were my family member or not, if you were, if you had the best intentions, or did you have a wicked design, did you have, that eye of jealousy, that eye of envy, that eye of, I want to make this person, turn away from God and try to go back into the fire of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's not going to work. Okay, so this is our understanding, for this video, that, we want to make sure that we're cleansing ourselves. We want to make sure that we have the right attitude. Okay. So, I hope that this video has been helping a lot of you in order to cleanse the negative energy. I hope that you have benefited from these messages, from these types of cleanses, some of the rituals that I have been able to give you. And if you have been able to receive these messages, then, you have been blessed with the relief to be able to cleanse not only the negative energy in your life, but to remove the stagnation, to remove the blockages, in order to, move forward in your life. Those blockages that have been placed in you, those stumbling blocks that have been placed in your way intentionally. Okay? And like I tell you all the time, if a person was just saying, I don't want this person to be better than me, I'm going to, try to run a smear campaign. I'm going to try to stalk this person. I can forgive that. That is forgivable. But when a person is outright trying to harm you or harm your guests, then we have to go ahead and turn into what God has given us in order to cleanse that person out of our life, so that those persons and their intentions are exposed, so that this doesn't go over into anyone else, so that they cannot attack anyone else. Okay, so let's make sure that we understand that it doesn't go over into the next generation, and the persons that they have been attacking in this way, they are exposed for what their hands have wrought. Okay, so we have a lot of things that we can do. And, for you who have, just started your journey, you have a lot of work to do in cleansing this type of negative energy. When you have to remove yourself from the situation, from the person, and that negative energy continues to follow you, then that person that is sending that negative energy is a spiritual narcissist. They have tried to sacrifice you to the entity, and they have become obsessed with you, and you're going to have to cleanse that person out of your life, because they will never stop. They will never stop trying to turn you back from God. They will never stop trying to corrupt you. They will never stop trying to take your blessings. They will never stop trying to take your finances. They will never stop trying to be you and take your life. Okay, so anything is permissible until you're trying to take my life. And, that's when the buck stops here. This is not a game. When we're cleansing these types of obsessive people, these narcissists, I don't care if you're staring at me. I don't care if you're staring at me. You can stare at me. But this ain't what you want when you try to, set up on me and take my life and use, sorcery, manipulation, and witchcraft, the evil eye, and try to take my health, try to take my life. And I've seen this type of pattern in some of my clients. And that is why I've taken their case. So this is not what you want when you try to do that. Okay. You can be envious, all of that, negative stuff. You can, talk behind my back. You can be a backbiter, but when you try to harm the chosen ones, that's when the buck stops here. And these people have to be cleansed. These are spiritual narcissists. They are experienced at what they have been doing, and they have to be cleansed, because they'll never stop. So I hope you received this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. You can book your one-on-one life coaching sessions or your video chat sessions. Please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. I am on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and also TikTok. Please book your one-on-one life coaching sessions or your consultations so I can acclimate a gift to your situation. If you have been set up on in this way, where you have been, attacked, and you've moved away from these people and you're still under attack. So please make sure that you're reaching out to me so that I can acclimate a gift and send it to your front door. I'm High Oracle, Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.